Hello, I'm Wade Henderson. Join me now for conversations with our neighbors who create visual art. This is Delta Hands. In this edition, we'll meet an artist who looks for beauty in the details of nature and find someone who spreads the joy of living with work that's easy. Meet a painter whose imagination fills rooms. Sandra draws, paints, makes prints, teaches, and writes in an attic studio in Prairieville.
You never get bored. You never run out of things to do. You're expressing on paper what kind of makes your heart sing. So you can do it forever. And you can always go into a different direction. So you have many colors or many sides of your creativity. And you don't have to pigeonhole yourself. And that's what I tell my students too. You can try it all. You don't have to stick with one thing. So that's why I encourage my students to be more free and more creative and not to be so timid, which is a hard thing. Because when you approach a blank piece of paper, or especially a piece of expensive watercolor paper, it's a little bit hesitant to put that first mark on the page. I was doing watercolor exclusively for maybe, 10 years. Well, maybe not 10 years. I'm not quite sure. But once I joined my drawing group, the Highland Road Artists, then I noticed a lot of people were, doing pencil and charcoal, and I did a lot of that too. But pastel was another medium that I said, oh, I want to try this. So I went out and bought some pastels. And I am self-taught, in a way, but I think it's in a good way. One thing I've really, over the last few years, really wanted to do is get away from just painting a pretty picture and have it mean more about the things that I care about. So, of course, as you get older, you do evolve, and you do I think care more about what you're going to put down on the page, no matter what kind of page it is. It could be a watercolor page, a pastel page, a printmaking page. So, that's a big, I think, goal that I have, to really, just not paint another pretty picture. Just do something a little different, from a different approach, and with something that's meaningful to me. Doing prints is an affordable way to get the public to enjoy your work. A lot of times people can't afford to buy a full sheet watercolor or a pastel that has taken maybe many hours to create, so you really have to price them accordingly. But with original prints, you can turn out a good bit in a couple of days. Now, they're not all going to be winners. You have to toss a whole bunch, and you keep the ones that are good. But it's a faster medium, and it's definitely experimental, which I love, because you can really, it leads you into what direction, it says, oh, this turns out good, so you want to continue on and do more of that. I still have a strong connection to nature, and I've always, in the beginning I did landscapes that were, pretty traditional, as a lot of artists do, and still do today, but now I've become to focus in on the close-up aspect of a leaf or a vine or some moss, So I really want people to observe like I observe, and like I enjoy the simplicity of a palmetto or a banana leaf. Those are the things that I think I like to celebrate about nature, and more of the found things rather than, beautiful, perfectly painted landscapes. And also I enjoy drawing people, painting and drawing people, which has been a recurring theme for a long time in my work. I just hope that people relate to the things that I can relate to or I enjoy, and hope that they want to pay more attention to the little things that might be overlooked. I really feel like whatever medium you're in, you have to have your palette spread out so you can see, and so you can pick, oh yeah, I need that, or I need this, or that color. Okay. So, it's very important to have a nurturing environment, a place of one's own that you can say, this is my space. This is where I can open up and do what I want and not have any, not have anybody looking over your shoulder or, say, oh, can you move that over or something like that. So I hope, every artist can carve that out somewhere in the space that they live for themselves. And most artists, in one way or another, are able to do that. It's funny, some people look at my work and they see it like an oriental quality to it. And I think it is a kind of a spare quality in some of my work, and it's more delicate. And I think it shows up in almost every medium I do, and it surprises me. But I think that means you just can't take out your own personal style or imprint on whatever you do. Your own creativity and your mark will show through whichever medium you use. So that's why I feel like I can use the whole, I can go from watercolor to pastel to drawing to printmaking to jewelry design, whatever I want to do. And somehow my own, I guess, belief system and aesthetic will shine through it. And I think it's true of any person, any artist, any creative person. Creativity can flow into all areas, your home, or your cooking, what you do, entertainment. It can be a blossoming. You just have to be open to it. I think you don't have to say I'm an artist, but you have to believe I am creative and I can, let my creativity flower by drawing or painting or whatever. And I think people just need to give themselves permission to do it. If you have to stay up till 12 or 1 a.m. to get it done, or you're going to find a way to get the money to buy the paint or to buy the press or to buy the drawing materials. A passion will drive you to do what needs to, come out of you somehow, some way, so you'll figure it out. Or, like I say, go with the flow. Doors will open so that you can do what you want to do if you have that driving passion. I really think that. Just show up and do the work. And I'm guilty as anybody for not doing that a lot of times. So I have to remind myself, just go into that studio, just do one thing, and things will take care of themselves if you just make that first step and continue to daily make that first step.
Coming up on Delta Hands, colorful murals and colorful metal.